Welcome to week 28 of my Self-Important Magic the Gathering show. This week is Minus Black, aka Altruism. I tried doing this episode once, but I had to stop. That's why I already have cards in this deck. I'm annoyed by that, but we're going to try again and try not to take up too little time. I'm going to jump over here just to kind of show you what we have going on. There's not again, I don't want to reuse commanders with partner that I've already, earmarked, so what we have is right here. I have an Aragorn deck that I'll copy cards into later. And then Kynaios and Tiro of Meletis. The 14th Doctor's ability cares about other doctors, so we're probably not doing that today. And I don't want to do 4-color Omnath, so that's not going to happen either. So if we make more than one deck, it's gonna go like, or if we're gonna make more than 2 decks, it's gonna go a lot like last week. So let's read our 2 good boys right here. Kynaios, and Tiro of Meletis. Minus black for a 2/8, so I guess that's 2 1/4s. Human Soldier. At the beginning of your end step, you draw a card. Yay. Each player may put a land card from his or her hand, we'll just say there from now on if I remember, onto the battlefield. Then each opponent who didn't draws a card. Boo to our opponents getting to ramp or draw a card, but it is what it is. Then over here we have this color combinations Nephilim. It's a 3/3 with whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell. Actually we're going to go over here for Oracle text. Yep, casts. Okay. Cast an instant or sorcery spell if Ink Treader Nephilim is the only target of that spell, copy the spell for each other creature that spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. So that turns Path of Exile wild. Yeah, that is. I don't like it very much, and normally I wouldn't play it, but I think it's funny, so for the purposes of this show, we're leaving it in. Then we got our 38 lands, because we're playing in green still. So we have our 12 pieces of ramp, because we still have green, so it's the same 12, only different signets. And then our removal actually goes to the full 18. Look at that. Path to Exile, Pest Infestation, Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, Shattering Spree, Swords to Plowshares, Vandal Blast, Bovine Intervention, a single Disenchant. We don't have any of the green variants of Disenchant. I put in the white ones. Fateful Absence for having exactly 1 card to deal specifically with Planeswalkers, not counting the ones that can target any permanent. Mizium Mortars, Parting Gust, Reality Shift, Beast Within, Delayed Blast Fireball, Generous Gift, Stroke of Midnight, and Settle the Wreckage. So yay, we got to 18. Can we get to 11 more pieces of card draw? That will be a fun exercise. Let's go to card search. I'm going right to EDH Rec just for ideas. We can ignore lands. So let's... Notice how I don't put a whole lot of Planeswalkers in my deck unless I'm very specifically already know what I want. So let's start with enchantments. Dry to the Elysian Grove, since we'll be drawing extra cards. And also, since we're in a 4-color deck, this mana fixes. You know what? I also feel this kind of fits with our good gay boys. Though we're probably not gonna do that theme, just because I have a feeling it's gonna be a lot more difficult. Not that I have anything against it. I just don't know if we have any. There might be more lesbian representation in Magic than gay men, which is totally sexist, of course. And we're putting in ghostly prison and propaganda to kind of protect ourselves. So Annie joins up would allow us to draw 2 cards and play 2 extra lands, but it would also allow our opponents to play 2 extra lands or draw 2 cards or 1 land and 1 card on our turn as well. So I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of Dictate of Crewfix either. Like all of actually maybe I am. I was just thinking of other cards that could go in this deck, so let's do that. We can always take them back out later. Let's hit up artifacts. Chromatic Lantern, I understand. Felwar Stone, I understand. Thought Vessel, I understand. Actually, I'm going to go back to... Oh, wait, no, it's going to take them out. Nope, it hasn't yet. We'll come back, and if I change my mind again, we'll put those in. But let's go to creatures. Birds of Paradise, I understand. Tatiova, whenever a land enters the battlefield, we gain a life and draw a card. That's good. That's Parlay. See, this is what I'm talking about. At the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card, and each opponent who draws a card can't attack you or permanents you control during their next turn. That's better than this other stuff where they just get it for free. Bloom Tender. Whenever a land we control enters, we may draw a card, and we can play additional lands. Xeris, the Writhing Storm. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first card they draw on each of their turn, we get it. Like, see, if this was the commander, those other things would be better. Whenever your opponent draws a card, you get stuff. So we'd want to have as much our opponents drawing cards as possible, but since this isn't the commander, which is funny because I didn't like this during Teamer Week, but now that I've seen these other cards, I'm like, oh, that's a deck that you could build and get a bunch of garbage snakes, and it's a Snake Leviathan. When I get to after the 32 week challenge, I might build a snake typal deck around this and the things that make our opponents draw other cards. But until then, we're not doing that. So we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that one. But we're going to do whenever an opponent does something, we're going to search syntax for that. Oh, whenever an opponent Rest of the Endless Web, whenever they cast an instant or sorcery, we get a spider. Whenever they search their library, you gain a life and draw a card. That might not happen too often in the lower power levels. It could happen if your opponent's playing green and has the same sorcery ramp that we use, or if they're playing fewer colors and have more of the other ones like Cultivate and Kodama's Reach and all that. Avalanche of Sector 7's power is equal to the number of artifacts your opponents control. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact they control, Avalanche of Sector 7 deals 1 damage to that player. What I like about this is that A, it's a creature with menace that can have a lot of power, but B, this doesn't say that isn't a mana ability. So we like that. So, you know, they take 1 damage for using their Soul Ring or Arcane Signet or whatever. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-creature token, they get 2 poison counters. That can be a win con. A cheap win con is still a win con, though. Whenever an opponent... No, we're not doing burgeoning, though. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell. I don't know if that's the direction we want to go. I did it for this because it was funny, and also I just really like those 3 characters from Final Fantasy VII. Even if I'm not a big Final Fantasy VII fan, the remake gave them a bigger role, so that's cool. Whenever opponent casts a spell... Oh, that's not that important. Huh. Whenever an opponent shuffles their library, that's funny. Consecrated Sphinx is a game changer, so we're not doing that. This thing gets bigger when your opponent plays lands. The thing is that our commander doesn't say play a land. It says put a land into play, which I think is technically different. Yes, I do believe put and play are 2 different things. As per Sentinel, just to be rude. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you just get an insect. That's funny. The ever-watching Threshold. Whenever an opponent attacks you or a planeswalker you control with 1 or more creatures, draw a card. Sure, why not? Whenever an opponent attacks you while you're the monarch, they take damage equal to the number of cards in their hand. Introducing the monarch is also fun. Blue spell. Activates that... nah, that's only 1 damage. Force Fruition... Nope. See, again, that's... we don't want to let them draw more cards. This is technically worse. Avalanche of Sector 7. It activates on more things, but it doesn't say mana ability, so I'm not going to use that. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you may draw a card. That's interesting, but for 4 mana, I don't know if I want that. And it's not like we're going to be forcing our opponents to discard. Whenever an opponent casts a spell on our turn, we get to draw a card. I don't want to keep track of that, if I'm being honest. This makes wolves. That's not... I don't feel like that's good enough. No. Cast a creature spell. No. If that betrays, we don't. Nope, we're not worrying about them. Whenever opponent casts a spell, Lurking Predators is interesting, but it costs 6. And I know we have green in our deck, but that's still... Oh, this stuns creatures that's attacking you, and you can proliferate to keep them stunned. That's neat. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first one they draw on each of their turn for their draw step, this thing gets a +1/+1 counter. That's cool. Opponents can't cast non-creature spells with mana value greater than the number of lands they control. And but it also counters spells. My back. Sorry, I have a bad back, and I got to be careful how I sit. And I am bad at remembering that, even though this is a thing that affects me every single day. I'm just kind of dumb. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell, draw a card. Mangara has a lot of things on it. Creatures that we control. No, we're not. Also, 3 green pips. That mills, so we're not into it. That has a tax on it, so we're not worried about that. That's really weird. Monologue tax. Again, we're going to disincentivize multi-spelling. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. And also gives us no maximum hand size. I know it costs 7, but it's also a 7/7. And we can discard cards to make it avoid board wipes or whatever. The steel stuff, but it's very funny. Oh, whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell with mana value less than Polywog Prodigy's power, you draw a card. But it has evolved, so this is like taking way too long. Reparations. Whenever a target opponent successfully casts a spell that targets you or creature you control, you may draw a card. Sure. Like, I'll put bad card. That is probably a bad card, but I don't care. Oh, Razorkin Needlehead, the Red Underworld Dreams. That happens to be a creature. Oh, we're ignoring Ristic Study because it's a game changer. Oh. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library. And then we also start drawing off the bottom of our deck like weirdos. Still, yeah. That has a lot of text I don't feel like reading. No. Oh, Scrawling Crawler. They draw extra cards, but they take damage for it. That's important. Ignoring Tithe. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player sacrifices a permanent unless they pay 1. Sure. Oh, Taro. We get treasure. We basically get 3 treasures at the end of each of our turns, so that's good. Trouble in Pairs. That's the basically non-creature diplomat guy. Oh, copying spells, that's fun. Or, taxes their spells by 2 or we get to copy. Oh yeah, this nonsense. Whenever an opponent draws their first card each turn, if it's not their turn... Oh yeah, that's right. We get that. And then... yeah, that's wild. I like all of that. I'm gonna type in draws really quick just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Consecrated Sphinx. This is second card a turn. We don't. Mind's Eye costs 5. Okay, we got all the hits. What are we at? Oh, that actually got us up to 99 because we had most of the deck filled already. Let's see. We're gonna call this burn because that's technically what it does. These copies, these put counters on. Taro is technically ramp, so we're going to put that over in the ramp section as soon as there it is. Which gives us 16 pieces of ramp. Oh, we actually have 14 pieces of card draw because I have a lot of stuff that's like, oh, if your opponent draws a card, you should probably draw a card. Although some of these aren't really card draw, because like I'm not going to attack with this thing. Well, at least probably not. Although a lot of this is draw that is dependent on what our opponents do, but you know what? I still like where this deck ended up, even though it only took us 22 minutes to build it, and that's not cool or funny. Not conducive to an episode. Because I should have taken the lands out, but let's select all. Select all. Select all. There's still one card missing. What's funny is that I didn't put any of my normal protection pieces in either. Let's... card names only, because I don't think I have more than one of anything. There we go. We still need to find one more. I'm just kind of jumping ahead. Import. Control V. Save changes. Close this. I'll click this really quick. You do stuff, we get stuff. That's the sentence I chose to type. I actually have no idea what I want the last card to be. So let's go back to EDH Rec. Start with artifacts. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Oh, each player draws a card. Put new stuff in here. Each player may play an additional land. Font of Mythos? Like, yeah, no, we're not. It's not stuff I want to do. Oh, Council of Four. There we go. And now I have a new search term in case I want to switch stuff out. Oh. Whenever a player... So let's... I'm just scrolling down to... There they are. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. So, Adrenaline Jockey. Whenever a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, they get 4 damage done to them. Okay, and then something about exhaust, that doesn't matter. Whenever a player casts a creature spell, they sacrifice a permanent unless they play 1. We can gain a life for white spells. Worse, this. Whenever it does from graveyard. This thing pings but also gives people extra mana. That is really bad in Commander. Oh, Aurelia, the law above. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, we draw a card. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, this does 3 damage to each of my opponents and I gain 3 life. So that's good. That's worth taking something else out for. Black spell, goblin spells. That's until end of turn. Non-basic land. Chaos Moon has way too many words and way too small of print. That's blue. Curse the Chaos's Curse. Dictative Karametra. Oh, nope, that black spell. Dream-Dyed Whale. Oh, yeah, this is the thing that can get where, yeah, that's, we're not doing that in this one. Artifact spell. Glade Muse is not cool for us. Until turn, da da da. Like, again, Hardwood Storyteller is something that would go in that teamer deck. Ian Malcolm, whenever a player draws their second card each turn. See, we don't care about second card. Whenever a player that casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, you can steal it. I don't think we're going to do that. We're not going to do this Jolene. I don't want to connive. Whenever. Niv Mizzet is cool and all, but this is a hefty ask in a 4-color deck. Overabundance. Oh, that's like that one creature we already looked at. A lot of these really are just the, I don't feel like reading the words on the card. How many things did I add? I already forgot, but we're near the end so we can look. Okay. I'm glad I saw that just so I could eat another 10 minutes. And that that only put us at that. Okay, so honestly, Avalanche of Sector 7 is the first one on the chopping block just because of the extra damage I don't. Because I like this one because we're having people potentially draw cards. Like, technically, like, maybe Arasta and the Dragon Lair Spider are the two worst things. But, no. I like Arasta, and even if this is kind of an ask, don't care. Gives us more. I wonder how many creatures we have, because I wasn't counting that at all. Hey, we managed to get up to 25 creatures. Yeah. This is probably our best draw section we've ever had, even if it's very conditional. So, yeah, we're going to leave that up. If we build another deck, it'll be another Kynaios and Tiro, just, or maybe it'll be a different, actually, I think I know what I want the other one to be. Okay, so we can remove Taro because that was a ramp card that got moved. Get rid of monologue tax. Get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. And then nothing ended up in removal. It is interesting what random versions of stuff they put in. So, Aragorn the Uniter. Minus black for a 5/5 human noble. Whenever you cast a white spell, you get a dude. 1/1 human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, you scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. This is really annoying to play against in Brawl. Yeah, you always mulligan to removal against this jerk. Stupid hero of the realm. So I'm not going to EDH Rec. Oh, actually, you know what? The first thing, I wonder if it'll grab it. Nephil. Ink Treader, because this is all 4 of the colors. Sure, he shares a mana value with our Aragorn, but it's like we're not playing him before Aragorn. This time, though, we're going to want to protect Aragorn. So, equipment. I got lost for a second. Wasn't sure if I had spelled it correctly halfway through. O indestruct or O exp. Equip 1. Sure, Dark Steel Plate, even though it's Mirror Shield, Hammer of Nazan, Mithril Coat, Shadow Spear, Swiftfoot Boots. Like, I know this is all colorless stuff, but this is important colorless stuff. I'm actually not going to put the Lightning Greaves or anything with Shroud, because we are going to want to kind of pile them up with stuff. Close. We're going to put all of that into protection. If I can think of, oh, actually, that was probably too wide of a search. Acquisition Octopus, Arc Splitter, Although actually just putting the Buster Sword in is good. General's Kabuto. Although that is Shroud, so I don't. Though it prevents all combat damage. I wonder if that's a good trade. No, it's not. Unfortunate. Oh, Cauldron Complete, even though it's super expensive. I kind of wanted this to be 10 items. But then I realized that was mildly silly. Swords of generic super good card. White, blue, red, green. We're just going to see what else has all 4 of the colors. You know what? We'll put them in the deck. And honestly, it's funny that there's not even, like, I just put in this, and these are all of the things. But we're still not going to put in the 14th Doctor because he's silly Stillly not helpful. We're still not putting in Omnath. So now we're going to look for 3 color cards. Oh, there's only one A in Aragorn. I should have known that. That's right there at the top. Let's put in all of the Aragorns, if they do anything even remotely interesting. Aragorn, King of Gondor, says you become the monarch. And then if you're the when he attacks, one thing can't block unless you're the monarch, then nothing can block. That's cool. Hornburg Hero says attack creatures you control have first strike and renown 1. Whenever a round creature you control deals combat damage to a player, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. That sounds cool. Aragorn, Company Leader, what do you do? Whenever the ring tempts you, okay, that's not going to matter this one. And I'm not too worried about that. But we'll have all of both of the 3 color Aragorns. And if I do this and then that, then we can go back here. And okay, what's mildly interesting is that this deck might actually eat up a lot of time because I'll be reading a lot of cards. Whenever you create 1 or more tokens for the first time each turn, you get a bird. That's interesting because our commander can make tokens. A free weapon master. Nah. You can activate abilities as though they had haze. That doesn't really matter here. Commodore Guff. We're not super friendsing. Populate or proliferate. See, this is one of the fabricate things we missed in the other deck because it didn't have blue in it. Prowess. Prowess again. That also makes monks with prowess. Eowyn, Shield Maiden. I hope I pronounced that accent mark up there correctly. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human entered the battlefield under your control, you get 2 knights. If you control 6 or more humans, draw a card. Well, you know what? As long as we're casting white spells, sure, why not? We're probably also going to be paring down this deck. That feels like a thing we're going to end up doing. Changing how I'm sitting. Flamehold Grappler. Copy the next spell you cast when you cast it. That's neat, but I don't think I also really like this picture. I like Lady Monks, they're cool. Spells you cost. Oh, this is a whole deck right here that's really cool. Your stuff costs, all of your targeting stuff costs 1 less, and all of your opponent's targeting stuff costs 1 more. This is really wild when you have spells that say any number, where X number of targets. Cycling. Oh, what's all the text on this Gandalf? Oh, you time counter stuff you've cast on someone else's turn. Oh, this is Guile. We're going to have a Street Fighter weekend or month. Oh, Inspired Ultimatum. If this was a 3-color deck, I'd do this, but this is a 4-color deck. Non-creature spell, prowess. That's the problem with Jeskai, is that it's doing stuff. On creature spell. Kate Stewart. Nope, that's time counters. Convoke. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain a life and draw a card. It has flying and haste. It's a big ask, and it's probably a bad card, but I'll cast it. It gets us a soldier, some damage, and a scry. Nope, that's Planeswalker types. Lightning Angel, Flying Vigilance Haste, but it doesn't really do anything, so we'll probably skip it. Especially since it gets power crept a bit by this Mantis with one less toughness, but also costs one less, which totally makes it worth it, in my opinion. We're just going to ignore all of these Narsets. That switches the direction. Optimus Prime. He bolsters every turn. Optimus Prime is cool, and you would get along with Aragorn, but that's not what we're doing. Creature spell stuff. Oh, that's Convoke stuff. Oh, look, it's one topic at a time. That's some energy stuff that I don't care about. The Archimandrite. He's a living ivory tower, which is interesting. That's double-faced cards caring about. The Chronoclasm? What do you do? Okay, that's... Oh, the Face of Bow. That's suspend stuff that we're not doing. Oh, the Apex of Thunder. Warden of the Eye. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you draw a card. That's great if we had more of them in the deck. Oh, this and Zidane. Or Zidane in this deck. Give all of our stuff Offspring. That was interesting, but we do have several more colors to check. Trade out red for green. Oh, Alistair the Brigadier. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you get a soldier who is not specifically human. That's mildly interesting. Hold on, I gotta hurt my back to change the way I'm sitting again. Did I say on one of these episodes that I want to get them hospital grippy socks? I really do. Whenever he attacks, you may pay 8. And that is historic permanent caring about stuff. I don't know how many historic permanents we're going to have. You go into protection, even though that's not exactly what it does. Actually, it's actually card draw, but it's in a piece of equipment, so that's where I want to put it. In fact, I'm just going to... I'd rename it... You know, let's just rename it equipment. Equipment. Do that really quick. Do ourselves a favor. Hey, look, 3 pieces of card draw. Amaret Illustrious. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it shares a card type, you can pseudo draw. So, and since tokens are permanents and they have types, That counts, I'm fairly certain. And it's also a flying 6/6 that gives us the creature, lets us scry, and make something bigger. Kitty Sabbath, the Ginger Dude. That is not good. The Broken Broker's Ascendancy. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. I don't know if I'm going to go with that, but yeah, it is broken. Choo Choo Rocket. Choo Choo Rocket is a broke. Ultimatum, Crystallization, Derevi. Falco, Estrid, Endless Detour. That is a big ask. Oh, what do the paleontologists do? We can exile stuff from our graveyard to discover. That's neat and all. If we were doing exalted stuff, that'd be pretty cool. Kindler of Hope. Kellen joins up. Whenever you cast a human spell, we're not doing human tribal. The Skittish Seer. It's mana value 4 or greater. That's adventure spells. Kellen the Kid. Oh, hey, look, anywhere other than your hand. Enchanted creature. Oh, that's mildly interesting. This is some Bant Goad shenanigans. That's at the beginning of your upkeep. Put a shield counter, which prevents, which is basically a regeneration effect. I think. I'm not going to look into it. But it can pop even if regeneration wasn't necessary. So if they take damage or would, you know what? Now I got to look. If they would take damage or would be destroyed, I believe. It's not the same as regenerating a creature, yes, because regenerating taps the creature. Shield counters don't prevent sacrificing. Unpreventable damage will still break the shield even if it still takes the damage. Doesn't look like it affects being destroyed. But this part about state-based accent just means if it has... yeah, that's about toughness and stuff. So maybe shield counters don't prevent board wipes. But that's still interesting because it goads the creatures that you put shield counters on. Nope, that's by different players. This thing just draws a card. We are not dealing with Feldegriff. We're not doing Miss Bumbleflower. Mr. Foxglove, we gave him a whole deck. Oh yeah, Mr. Foxglove is actually really cool. If you were, did we build his deck? I don't remember Bant Week at all. Whenever Mr. Foxglove attacks, draw cards equal to the number of cards in defending player's hands minus the number of cards in your hand. If you didn't draw cards this way, you can just put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield, so that's cool. Morsko Undersea Sleuth means we have no maximum hand size. We investigate it on our upkeeps, so that creates tokens for what it's worth. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, this guy gets 2+1/+1 counters. I don't think that's good enough. I think we did give him a deck too, just because it was an investigate deck. That's small. Huh. If we attack with our little knights, we can draw a card, so I like that. Oh, this thing does pseudo draw, but it costs like 6. Oh, we're not dealing with that. We have to gain life for that. Oh, Rubina the creature stealer. That blink stuff. That's dogs. Oh, that destroys a bunch of stuff, but it also costs like 7. If we had more, this would be great in like a Bant Vigilance deck. Close to the end of this color's oh, we are at the end of this color's combination. Titus and Yuna. I think the very first week I'm going to do after I'm done with this challenge is going to be my own personal upgrade to the Final Fantasy Precons, even though Edge of Eternities will be out. But now I'll be late to the party, but I don't care. Enchantments. Scroll back to top. Then we replace this middle one with R. Intentionally choosing difficult to cast spells. Enters the battlefield if you cast it. Nah. Oh, Any Joins Up is actually really good in this, because we get 2 things every time we cast a spell with colors in it. I like Balin, but maybe not enough, because there's no guarantee that we're going to be making like a bunch of tokens. Oh, this is a free scry at the beginning of our upkeeps after we've drawn. That's neat. Wait, untap, upkeep. No, that's before we draw. That's also a potential draw, as long as we don't mind showing it to our opponents. And then if we just don't want it, we can put it at the bottom of our library. I don't know. We'll come back to that. I have no idea what we're doing. Good old Cloud. More Trample, Lifelink, Haste, but this one doesn't have flying. Garrett is interesting. Gishat does not do anything in this deck. Hazon doesn't do a whole lot in this deck, because we're not going to have deserts. I got there eventually. This would be neat if it had some form of evasion. But that's also, if we're not at 100 by the time we're done, that's all multicolored spell or is going to be a search term. Other plants. Oh, we can make different tokens, but I'm not too worried about that. Goat stuff you don't control might come out, but that's still not terrible. Radiant Cavo. What is this? The Minuteman. Ah, he mana fixes. That's neat. Okay, that's dinosaurs again. Other multicolored creatures get +1/+0, and then multicolored creatures go back to our hand. That was kind of a thing that I was hoping was in one of these colors, and I was like, I don't think that had black in it. So, and I'm also glad it was 3 colors so I could find it. Tifa. Oh, gives us extra attack steps. Scroll to top, and then there's just one more section where we change this W to a U because that is the color they use to represent blue. Ah, yes, Teamer. Borborigmos. Flubs. Good old Laura Croft. Stupid loot. He's a good card. I just refuse to put him into this deck. Just looking at him makes me angry. Me, the Immortal, would be fine, but I don't feel like discarding cards. The Riku's. Sarkin. Okay. Hey, that put us at 91. And we have 7 draw cards. I mean, I know we destroyed that with a different deck, but I'm still happy with it. So that was all the 3 color cards. What's our spread? Oh, our spread is actually really good, except for we do have mostly white, which not entirely surprising. Was there? I mean, now we can look at 2 color stuff. Although, yeah, I guess we want, like, if we get her out, we definitely want to make those. We definitely want to get those white creatures. Like, there's more mono stuff I could do, but like I was keeping that. That's funny. I'm actually going to move her from removal to copy. Oh, I remember what I was going to search. Oh, multicolored protection from multicolored. Oh, this becomes a 3/2 with first strike. I guess I'm fine with that since it's still a 3-colored card. It's a 3-colored card that you only need 2 colors of mana to cast. Protection from multicolored. This thing is... Oh, this thing's technically all colors. This is where we open a thing and go Aragorn and Falagi. Aragorn and Falagi. Sweet. Thank you, Magic the Gathering Reddit. Is all colors. And then it also gives all of our stuff Convoke, which is neat. You know what? This thing just ranked. This just ranked into the into it. It turns into a 6/6. Hexproof and monocolored. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you get a golem. Sure, why not? Multicolored creatures get +1/+1. No. Oh, this creates humans for multicolored spells. +1/+1 for each of its colors. I like that. Oh, that's multicolored instant or sorcery, which I'm not running. Oh, the 4 mazes. We're not doing that. That's taking up way too much. Oh, sure. There are there should be one more, or maybe not. This thing untaps, but that's nah. Mana Cannons is funny, but I don't think it's good enough. What are we at? We are at 98. That's why we're not putting the made things in. Or the maze things. I guess I was wrong about there being a third one of those within the 4 colors. I'm going to look for all colors for the last 2. All colors. Oh, that's not casting the spell, but that's mildly interesting. I could have swore... Oh, that's interesting. Oh, Leyline, right. I could have swore Guild Pact or Leyline of the Guild Pact didn't have black in its mana cost, but I guess I'm wrong. I'm going to do this and do this because I'm just curious. Of course, it grabs the arena one. Oh, it's right there. Okay. White, blue, black, red, green. It's just green is in every circle. Okay, fair enough. Just hitting search again. So we're still at 98. I'm just curious for EDH Rec. Oh, how many creatures do I have? That's always a good question to ask when I'm near the end. 19? Okay, so the last 2 things... I know we make creatures, but I'd still like to cast creatures. And you know what? We have a good number of legendary creatures too for Annie joins up, so that makes me feel good. Anyway, card search, EDH Rec. Still want to look up creatures. What do we got? What does it think? Birds. Oh, Feyburrow Elder for yeah. It can add up to 4 mana. Gives our other creatures trample. That is, thank you, Surak and Gorklaw, or Surak Dragonclaw. You make a good point. I guess Jetmir, changing how I'm sitting, is good too, especially if we get all of those tokens out. because our things would have vigilance, trample, and double strike. So yep, I guess that unless I think of something else, that fills out the last two just fine. We're avoiding the chair. Because we have quite a number of things that don't trigger Aragorn already. In fact, we just have to do this and go, oh, there are 17 things that don't trigger Aragorn at all. Eight sorceries and 24 instants. And 21 creatures and 1 enchantment. I actually like how this deck turned out. We're at 116, so I'm going to throw another deck together. We go in here. Actually, I'm going to go over here really quick because gotta remember to do the thing. Yep. Close. Multicolored spells go BRR. At least 3 R's, right? That's how I choose to write that. Save changes. See, and then we go select all. Okay, we got one extra piece of ramp, but that's fine. Select all. 7 pieces of card draw still isn't the worst thing. Select all. Copy card names only. Unselect. Yeah, it's going to be another Aragorn deck because I realized that I just can't ignore this ability. So we are going to set that as commander. And then this is going to be one of them goofy niche decks. This is definitely we're about to make bracket 1, folks. Set LTR or set LTC. That's what we're doing. That's Aragorn's sword, I do believe. It's someone's sword in his family, if it ain't his. Aragorn, 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 Aragorn and Arwen. This specific arcane signet. Monarch gets to draw more cards. More Arwens. This Arwen. Don't think we care about Arwen's gift though. I don't know where this is in the story, but the Borrow Blade's good about that whole creatures that it blocks or becomes blocked by loses abilities. This makes our commander indestructible. We like that. Beast Within is just good removal. Don't care. That's a land. Bilbo Retired Burglar is just a good card. Oh, we get to have Birds of Paradise. Sure, Boromir helps us find other humans and artifacts. I gotta remember to grab all the lands as well, not all of the lands, but all the lands with colors. Sure, more things that make us become the monarch. We're probably going to need that. Oh, command power. Combat Celebrant. He's on the flavor text, so that's good enough for me. Crown of Gondor. We're probably going to be running a lot more basic lands than you'd expect. Hold on. I have to super change how I'm sitting. It calls for me standing up and doing a full reset of my entire body. Then we move ourselves back in the chair, and then we can pull the desk back up to us. Not, you know what? Delighted Halfling is fine. Well, that equips humans. I don't know how much Aragorn has any effect on them. But they are humans. That's interesting. We get a ring bearer. We're not doing anything with the elves. Oh, the Lady of Rohan. I don't know how much equipment we'll be running. Oh yeah, that's cool. We're kind of doing human typal, but it's all terrible Lord of the Rings cards. Maybe some good Lord of the Rings. We're going to have a lot of legendary creatures, I can tell you that much. Sure. Honestly, oh, it only doesn't potentially add black, so as long as your pod isn't 3 mono black decks, you're fine. Oh, the Faramir's. Oh, Farseek. Flowering of the White Tree. A land. That's on flavor, but we're not bothering with it. Oh, stuff that attacks our opponents gets menace, that's good. Oh, this gives our stuff indestructible as long as we're attacking with a lot of stuff. We're going to have at least 8 basic lands because these have 2 different prints, and that's just how I rock. Unless, of course, the basic lands don't account for that. Actually, I think I want this Galadriel in this one. It adds 3 green. You can scry draw a card. And it's whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control. I probably should have put this in the other Aragorn, but if he enters the battlefield or attacks, we do counters, we get food or treasure. Sure, why not? We'll have 3 or 4 Galadriel since this isn't an elf deck. Sorcery spells is the turns our sorcery spells into instants. That's actually really good. Whenever you cast a spell, creatures you control get +1/+1/0, +1/+0 until end of turn, and you can scry 1. That's cool. Legendary spells are those that, and artifacts as though they had flash. And then entering or leaving of those types doubles. Oh, well that's interesting. You can have someone go away and come back better. The goose as another piece of kind of ramp. Hey, the axe you can have. Glacial Fortress. do that. We're probably going to do a separate look over of lands. Goldberry, a very cool card, just not for this deck. Oh, the Grey Host. Sure, that can always come out later. Oh, that's Harsh Mentor. Okay. Heirloom Blade. Sure. Herald's Horn is cool and all. Yeah, again, we can always just take stuff out. Oh, this makes more humans. Sure. I don't think we'll be abusing that, so we're not going to use it. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, if only. That's a vanilla creature. Oh, the Lightning Greaves, of course. Oh, this is cool. Creates humans and also taps stuff when humans enter. I mean, I know we have a couple of elves in here, but those elves... that's a cool elf card. Mentor the Meek. Oh, the Mind Stone. Minas Tirith. You can pay 3 mana to draw a card as long as you've attacked with 2 or more creatures that turn. Number of cards in your hand. Oh, and then we can draw cards by tapping humans. Oh, the Mithril Coat. I know it goes on a halfling, but it's too good to ignore. He's going in the deck, even though I doubt my ability to draw 2 cards a turn. Oh, he comes with a friend. It's fine by me. Oh, raise the palisade because we're mostly humans. I don't mind recasting the few elves that are in the deck. Rampant growth. The special reflecting pool. I'm also going to have to search for the word tempt. Yep, ring tempting us. That's fine. Riders of Rohan. Oh, this costs one less for each human we control. Oh, and it creates the humans. That's cool. We'll do Rising of the Day, just give our creatures haste and our legendary creatures bigger. Exert Roram Chargers. When I exert, prevail, da da da. Oh, this will help us find our equipment. When this dies, the ring tempts us. That's fine. We're probably going to be paring down this deck after, but that's fine. At least halflings. Secluded courtyard. Oh, shared animosity. Of course, Soul Ring. We'll put in the Soul's Attendant. We'll let the ring tempt us. Oh yeah, that's right. Like the second ring tempting gets us more cards. Strider. Swords to Plowshares. That's Sword of the Animist. That's Sword of Wealth and Power? No. Hearth and Home. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to one target creature you own. Insert your library for basic land. Put both cards into the battlefield. They control and shuffle. Okay, yeah. It abuses enter the battlefield effects, and it's the Sword of Rohan, so that's cool. Sylvan Tutor. Oh, we can have 2 talismans. Among legendary creatures in your graveyard, that's funny. Oh, that's the Ozolith. Thought Vessel. Non-basic Landwalk, don't sleep on that. I say as I haven't probably put it in any decks, but it's up to now, but it's still neat. Let's see. Choose a creature type. Creature you control the chosen type, get +1/+1. And then if you cast a creature spell of that type, draw a card. We'll come back to that if it turns out we somehow didn't get to 100. There's the land. Verge Rangers and Village Bellringer. Oh, the flash on tap level creatures we control, that's cool. And if someone else has more lands, we can play them from the top of our library. Weathered Wayfarer gets us lands if someone else has more lands than us, but I don't know about that. Oh, Whisper Seal Cloak is in here. This is a disenchant on a creature. Going back to the top. We're at 119, and we also have the incorrect number of lands, so this is going to be a thing. We also actually have a lot more lands than I thought we would. So let's turn this into a grid. Just really quick. But also just go by type, because that's going to save us a tiny bit of room with fewer, because we have fewer headers. Okay, so what we do is we go here, we add one. Actually, no. What we do, LTR. So we click here, add his new card, switch to that one. So now we have 2 forests. Then we go here, all printings again, LTR. I keep right clicking, add new card, switch to edition. And we do that for the other 2. We're going to do the plains first just because the mountain will displace it, and that'll confuse me. All printings, LTR. Add is new. Click on that. Did that put us at 37 actually? Yeah, it did. Okay, so we have the correct number of lands. Those are our instants. That's our removal. We should definitely probably fix that. These are our sorceries, which includes 3 ramp pieces. Then we have this, this, and that, which I think gives all of our legendary creatures Ward 1. Gives all of our stuff haste and legendary creatures slightly bigger. I'm going to keep those 3. How many creatures do we have? We have 54 creatures, so we're going to keep these 2 because they're ramp pieces. We're going to keep the Gilded Goose because it's ramp, at least for now. Sorry, Arwen. Sorry, Bilbo, actually, because I really like Bilbo. Sorry, more of Arwen. Sorry, Galadriel. And then if we go under 100, we just grab more instants and sorceries, if I'm being quite honest. Oh, Gandalf isn't a human. There, we're down to humans plus 2 birds and a halfling, and we're down to 46 creatures. But oh, we still have 15 more to go. Well, now we go back to categories, and that's how we're going to par this down. So we have our anthems. So if we have our legendary creature out for 2 and a white, you know what? No, you're not good enough. Goodbye, Esquire of the King. Whenever this guy or another human enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets double strike at all end of turn, so that's cool. Whenever this guy or another human enters, you get +1/+0 until end of turn, so that's good. We're keeping this sword. We're keeping all Aragorns. We'll come back to this. Although I guess we don't care about the ring tempting us except for this specific Aragorn. So I'm actually going to go up here. I was trying to click, but TM. So that thing cares about tempting. We can get tempted exactly once. Well, depending on if our ring bearer lives, we can probably get tempted more than once. This cares about the ring tempting us. But okay, I'm gonna remove all references to ring tempting us, even though one of them is sadly an Aragorn. But since we don't really have, one, we need to cut things, and two, the ring isn't tempting us enough for these cards to be worth keeping in the deck. Yeah, there was only one more anyway. Okay. So the ring is no longer, now we're down to 8. We still want it to be creatures. That's still cool. Let's get rid of this Monarch card, because we don't want people who are not us to get that bonus. This thing will draw us a card, and we're almost guaranteed to have a legendary creature. This draws a lot of cards. Yeah, we're not going to get rid of anything in our card draw section. What's funny is that even though that we don't have that many equipment doesn't matter because it's going to get all the stuff that we care about anyway. Wait. I got to double check the cards in the deck. Okay, we took out one card. What do you do? Whenever one or more creatures attacks your opponents, they get menace. That's still good. We'll take out the combat celebrant. And then, so now we're at 106. Whenever one or more attacking legendary creatures you control. Oh yeah, if our legendary creatures die, we get more attack phases. I'm fine with that. And then we skip down past our lands. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control. You know what, Strider? We're not doing landfall stuff. Soul's Attendant still matters. So, but we're at 5. We have our protection pieces. Commanders are indestructible. That's cool. Oh, that has counter target spell on it. We gotta get rid of it. So that we're now down to 4. I still think that's cool. Send away a creature to make it come back better. This is expensive, but people with a lot of cards in their hand can't attack us. You know what? That's just not a big enough bonus. Boy, it would be really easy just to get rid of these 3 non-humans. Oh, we have 18 pieces of ramp. Oh, there we go. Sorry, birds. Sorry, halfling. Sorry, goose. And then if we go back to the top... That's exactly 100. And we are going to call this... That is not where we decide that. We go up here. We click that. We unclick that. We are 1,000,000,000% calling this a bracket 1 deck. It has 3 pieces of removal. We're going to call this one Aragorn. And we're going to call this one something else. We're just going to call this one Altruism. 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 Okay. They're basically switching names. Lord of the Rings themed deck. That's all I really have to say about that. Close. What's funny is that they still have the wrong names, but it doesn't matter because those links still work. And that put us at 155. Next week is minus red. So expect to see the exact same ramp section and most of the same removal. See you then.